DK,
Yes, sir.
we're out here in Venice, right next door to the Mecca Gold's Gym.
Yes.
You're homeless.
Yes.
How'd that happen?
Well, I became homeless initially in Orange County because I was doing a photo shoot at the Spring Hill Suite Hotel in Irvine. And before I did that photo shoot, I had got laid off my job, which was at Leica. Leica built a flagship location in West Hollywood on Robertson and Beverly. They spent, oh my God, dude, probably around maybe $8 million or something like that on the flagship location. It has upstairs and downstairs. It has a photo gallery upstairs, and then it has the retail gallery downstairs. And they would do gallery openings for people like, what's his name? The rock star. He's kind of light skinned. What's his name? God. His mother was on the Jeffersons. You know what I'm talking about? What's his name? He's a black guy, but he sings rock. He's light skinned. What's his name? God. Anyway, it'll come to me. So they had a gallery opening for him. Someone gave him a Leica when he was 13, and he fell in love with it and learned how to be a photographer. His best friend was this French dude that went to school for photography and became a professional photographer. And so we had a gallery opening for him, and it was, God, what's his name? Oh God, it's on the tip of my tongue. He's a rock star, but he's black. What's his name? God, he's the only black rock star. Anyway, this is Scooby. He dated my ex-girlfriend, so we became really good friends because we could compare notes. You know, he would share his experiences with Jennifer, and I would share mine, and they were so epic and so that we became friends. And so he calls me Uncle DK because what are you 40 now? Scooby, what are you 40? He's 40. I'm 60. Yeah. So I got 20 years on him. 60, and he's 40. Yeah.
How long have you been homeless?
About almost 3 years now. Almost 3 years. And I first became homeless in Orange County, and because I got stuck. One of the models invited her friend to the photo shoot without my permission. Well, that friend was a bad person. They went down to my car to smoke a cigarette, and I had to give them the keys. I didn't think that she would steal my car, because the other girl I knew really, really well, and they were sitting in my car listening to music like teenagers do, and decided to go for a joyride. She went way, way, way far, deep in Orange County, hit the embankment curve and broke the axle and totaled my vehicle. She couldn't drive the car back, so they abandoned my vehicle, left it there. So I had to call the police. I called the police, and at first I wasn't going to press charges, but then I decided to press charges because of her attitude. And so I pressed charges. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she ever got caught, but all my camera equipment was in there, and that was my vehicle. And I had already moved out of my apartment because I got laid off, and I couldn't afford to pay the rent anymore without working. And I had lived there for a long time, so I'm looking around for a place that I can afford. I found out last year that 1 million Californians left California and moved to Texas because the cost of living here in California has gotten so high that people can't afford to live here anymore. 1 million Californians left and went to Texas, Idaho, Iowa, Arizona, Tennessee, and one other state I can't remember. Yeah.
What's a day like for you being homeless?
Well, I get up in the morning and I got customers knocking on my door. DK, I need you to fix my bike. you know, I got a flat tire, my pedal broke, or whatever. Or I want you to put a rack on it. I want you to put a basket on it. I want whatever it is. Or I want to trade. I don't want this bike anymore. Can I get another bike? And can I give you my bike and you give me a bike, because I really don't have the money to buy a new one. And you know, a lot of times the customer will have a bike that has value. Now that's Georgina. No, wait a minute, that's not Georgina. Sorry. It looked like her for a minute. That's what she's gonna look like in probably 20 years. But anyway, Georgina and I are supposed to be starting a business down at the boardwalk. We're gonna get a vendor square and sell art, jewelry, clothing, skateboards, bikes, and hoodies. I've already purchased, I have a bunch of handbags and slippers, we call it sandals for women, really nice. And she's supposed to get some of the makeup, and I'm supposed to get, some of the jewelry, and then of course I'm going to provide the bikes and then the skateboards. So we're supposed to be in the midst of doing that. We got to get down there. I was told that they're giving out housing, permanent housing vouchers down there, but I haven't been able to get down there because I've been inundated with a lot of customers, and because I'm a one-man band and I don't have any help, and I can't hire anybody that's homeless with any work ethic. It's just impossible. So I'm going to have to hire someone that has always worked, who pays taxes.
What's the toughest thing about being homeless?
Dealing with the gangs, dealing with the gangs because they have so much power over you, and they can kill you, they can hurt you, they can destroy you, they can make your life. I got hit in the head with a 5-pound hammer because this one Latino gang member wanted to infiltrate my business, and he wanted to be my right-hand man, and then eventually it came out that he was actually an undercover gay. My backup mechanic, he offered to pay him to have sex with him, because he told me, his name is Mexican Anthony, who was my backup mechanic, a really good mechanic. And he told me about it, and I was like, no, really? And I didn't believe him. I kind of believed him, but didn't believe him. But then I had this girl that I met that got to know me and started coming to the shop and befriended me, and we got close, and her mother died and she couldn't afford to pay rent anymore. So she was becoming homeless, and so I was going to let her move in with me. He got so jealous that he had me meet him at his friend's tent, and then made up some ridiculous thing where he could get into a confrontational situation with me, and then he said he wanted to fight, and so I stepped this way to get out in the street so we can fight. And as soon as I turned my eyes away from him, he sucker punched me, hit me in the head right here, with a 5-pound hammer, and I almost died. I bled so much. I don't know how I made it. And I couldn't breathe, I couldn't swallow, and there was a friend that was there, and I said, please give me some water. So the water is what saved me, because my throat clammed up, because when I got hit with the hammer, the impact of that hammer hitting my head was so profound and so painful that my whole body went into shock. And that's why my throat clammed up, and I couldn't breathe, I couldn't swallow, and then I was laying there, and blood, dude, everywhere, and I was like in a daze, like in another planet. And then he burned my hand. You can see, Mark, he burned my hand with, I think, a cigar or something really hot, and it hurt really bad, and it's a permanent scar. And I didn't want anyone to call 911, because I didn't want to have to explain, all this stuff, and because my record is so clean that when I got I went to go buy some weed for my ex-partner and roommate one day, and my tent was up in West LA back then 2 years ago. During the day you have to have your tent has to be taken down, which really defeats the purpose, because if you're supposed to be
the sweeps.
no, if you're supposed to be looking for a job, getting ready for a job, getting cleaned up, getting dressed, that's very, how are you going to do that if your tent has to be down to the ground? So I had a 9-man tent with a king-size bed. I had a bar, I had wall-to-wall carpet. I mean, my places are amazing, and I'm well known for it. So when I get back from getting the weed, and I just got a new girlfriend, 19-year-old little gypsy girl, just as sexy as she can be, and I'm watching them throw everything I own in that dumpster. And I had just went grocery shopping, just bought food from Food for Less. I had a gang of ice, I had sodas and milk and cereal and yogurt and everything. They threw away my cooler and all of my food. And I go, how can you throw away a homeless man's food? And I just I lost it. I got emotional, and it was like 7 cops there. My new partner and new roommate, which I didn't know a lot about, he had some drugs, okay, in the tent. And they decided automatically that it couldn't be mine because I was too articulate, too intelligent. My record was too clean. They said, "What are you doing? Why are you hanging out with these drug addicts?" I said, "Look, some of these people are very trustworthy, and that has a lot of value in this environment. And you can't control if they have a drug problem or not. You really can't." So I explained that to them, and they scratched their head and they said, "You're the kind of guy that would smoke a joint, like half a joint once a month, and drink 1 beer like once a month." And I go, wow. And these were 7 cops.
Have you ever used?
Yeah, in the past I have.
Okay.
Yeah, but my dad didn't smoke. My dad didn't drink. My dad didn't do drugs. He took a nap every day for an hour, went to sleep at 9 o'clock every night, and worked out for 2 hours every day, and ate the healthiest foods on earth. My dad was, when he told me when he went to the doctor for a checkup when he was, I think 60, he said that his doctor told him that his internal organs was that of a 25-year-old man, because he didn't abuse his body, he exercised regularly, he was consistent in everything he did, and he didn't smoke and didn't drink and didn't do drugs.
Are you in contact with your family, or?
I'm not. My mother died about 6 years ago, and my dad is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He may be dead. We had a falling out a couple of years ago. I don't know.
Where do you see yourself in 6 months next year?
Well, it's been like going on 3 years now, and I can't really conceive how they can really get housing for as many homeless people as they are. Some of these people, they can't give them their own place because they have so many mental health issues that have to be addressed, that they're going to need like a caregiver. They're going to need a case manager / caregiver that can look after their affairs, watch, hold them accountable and help them transition. And some of them are never going to be able to transition, because some of them are, like one of my neighbors, Elizabeth, is a hoarder. She's a hoarder, and she's got some mental health issues, depression and bipolar and PTSD, and she's a hooker. And she sent for her daughter, and I just met her daughter, the young girl that we were looking at the other day, and she's all messed up.
Is there public services, or does mental health teams come around?
They come around, these outreach mental health, or I should say homeless outreach agencies, like St. Joseph and Lhasa. They're really, really good. I've gotten to know them. I've known them for 2 years. They picked me up in Westwood when they got a call from the shelter saying that we are open for business now, and I was on the list, so I got in right away as soon as the shelter opened up. Yeah.
So part of your 3 years you were in a shelter?
For 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
And
it.
what's life like in the shelter versus being in a tent?
Well, you get your own like cubic. It's kind of like a bedroom, but it's like a cubic area, and it's like kind of like you don't have a private door, but you do have some privacy because there's like a cubic wall here, a cubic wall there, there. You have your bed, and you have a couple of cabinets where you can put a padlock on, and where you can put things underneath. And it's a small area. It's like a twin-size bed. It's not comfortable. There is no curfew. They let you come and go like ships in the night. And it's all the shelters in Orange County. If you are not there at 8:45 or 7:45, they will bag up all your things and and throw them outside, basically, and throw them outside, and then say, wait a minute, I'm already homeless. Now you're going to make me more homeless than I already am. What purpose does it serve by throwing me out? I was 10 minutes late because I was trying to get a job at the moving company, you know, because the guy, he was in prison, and he did his time, he got out, and because he knew how to manage his money, he had enough money to open up his own moving company, and he paid all the guys cash. It was like $30 an hour. You know what I mean? That was a good hustle, being in a shelter, making $30 an hour. You know, and I didn't have all the overhead and rent and bills and car note and all that stuff anymore. So, but I was late because I went to the interview and they bagged up all my stuff and they put me out on the street. So I bought a tent from one of my friends inside the shelter, and I went to this place called the Flags in downtown Santa Ana. Man, I'm telling you, this place was the dangerous place, the most dangerous place I've ever been to. It was like 300 tents in the heart and the nucleus of downtown Santa Ana, the business center. There was the courthouse, the police department, this library, the State Department, and the library. And in the middle was 300 tents of homeless people that had all kinds of mental health problems and drug problems, and I mean, they killed one of the guys that lived there, a young Latino guy, with a bike frame. They beat him to death with a bike frame, and they have cameras everywhere over there. These new cameras that are blue, they come up like a shaft, like the Empire State Building, and they're long, and they saw and heard everything and did nothing. I mean, I've seen, and then it happened to me. I was going up some stairs. I got knocked in the head with a big dog chain, like from a pet bull. I fell backwards, rolled all the way down the stairs backwards, and they were marble and metal, the stairs. Woke up in a hospital. Was in St. Joseph. They have a St. Joseph. It's called St. Joseph, I think, Magnet.
Right.
It's there, and that was in the city of Orange. I was there for 2 weeks, and my father found out about it, and called the hospital 3 or 4 times a day, because he, for the first time in my life, acted like had changed and was really, really concerned about me, but it wasn't me. He was concerned about my money, because my dad. And that's a whole nother story. We can talk about that some other time when I.
So being homeless, you're pushed from curb to curb by the police.
No, actually the police treat me very well, because I always comply to whatever it is that they want me to comply to, and because I've done it when I've been pulled over in a car. I've never had a cop pull me out of a car, make me sit on a curb, handcuff me, and search my car looking for drugs or anything like that, because I'm very courteous and professional when they pull me over. I give them what they ask for, the way that they ask for it. You know what I mean? I pull out my registration, pull out my license, and I do it in a very, very calm and systematic way where they don't get nervous, you know, and I keep my hands visible. And because of that, the cops have always respected me when they pulled me over, and they've never given. And I've heard other black people that have been profiled because they're black, and they've been mistreated and abused and even beaten up. I mean, look what happened to Rodney King, but I have never had that experience. The cops have always treated me like like I was royalty. I mean, it's amazing, you know. And what I found out is a lot of people don't like cops, and they get very hostile when cops pull over. They think they're going to go to jail. They know they're going to get an expensive ticket they really can't afford, or they may have a warrant. They know they have a warrant. They're going to run their name and then wind up going to jail, losing their car, getting their car impounded. So they're very hostile toward cops. A lot of people, and I've seen people curse them out, threaten them, and you know, cops. You know, it wears on them after a while. They don't really get any respect, but I've always showed them the utmost respect because their badge and their uniform dictates that they have power and authority over me. So it's intelligent to be courteous and polite and professional, you know. And because I've always done that, I've never ever been mistreated. And you know, yeah.
So living out here in a tent, you have to contend with, I guess, the gang element.
Yeah.
And that's part of being homeless.
It is.
In certain streets over here, they manage the streets, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Individuals can be taxed by that element.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean.
How do you stay hopeful with your situation?
Well, I don't have a choice, so I just put my nose to the grind, and because I know what I'm doing, and because of my extensive background in marketing and sales, dude, I just turn on my experience. Dude, I would have to sit in marketing and sales classes for hours, and I would have to, you know, we'd have to go all the time because they wanted us to be the best. And that was just the car business. And then I got into high-end retail in Beverly Hills, and then I got into high-end home furnishing retail. And with all that experience, and then I had some other experiences as well, where I worked in sales and other, like in the lighting division, and I worked at Sharper Image. Sharper Image had a store in Beverly Hills, and I worked there. And they had a lot of high-end, you know, like garment bags, you know, electronics, wallets, sunglasses. We even had a 1957 Chevy convertible Corvette that I almost sold to a Belgian family, but Manny, he skated me and basically got the sale, you know, and by being dishonest and unprofessional in front of the customer, so I lost that sale. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if any employers are watching this, are you able to work?
Oh yes, absolutely. Able to work. Yeah.
And what types of experience? I know you did photography, and what
Yeah,
types of
I
experiences do you have?
did. I've worked for Great Western Bank. I worked in loan servicing, serviced mortgage loans for Great Western Bank. I've worked in title real estate. I worked in, let's see what else. It's been many years.
So you're optimistic about the future?
Oh yeah. I, you know, I have a lot of experience, and I know I've learned a lot of things, and you know, I know how to turn on, you know, my experience. I have a lot of confidence, and you know, I know how to make it happen for myself. You know, and God has given me a gift, you know, and so I just, you know, turn it on and just let God, you know, do His thing, man. You know.
So DK, if you wanted to change something about your past, would you live it differently?
Something about my past. It's kind of hard to say. I got married twice, and it didn't work out. I had 2 divorces, so I probably wouldn't have gotten married because both marriages didn't work out. The single life is it's bliss. So I've embraced my bachelorhood, and it works. You know,
If you had 2 wishes, what would it be?
To get off the streets, because then once you get off the streets, then you don't have those people that are over you, on your neck, and then you have the freedom and the liberty to be who you are and do what you feel you need to do, and go and come and have your being, okay, according to your endeavors, according to your, your wishes. And then, and also it enabled me to help others, because I can share with them that, hey, I was on the streets like you, and now I have my own place, and now I have a car, and I have my own business, so, yeah.
Well, Dee, thanks for talking to me, and I wish you the best in your future.
Thank you.